Surprise.
All right, MMA fools, we are back. I am going to be behind the scenes because I am mildly hungover and I didn't actually watch these fights.
He's got a huge zit on his face. Don't know why.
I'm very vain.
But Brandon's at least Brandon's back after being so upset about Adesanya losing. He couldn't go on last night.
I had my face in a pillow like Ronda Rousey. I was like covering my face.
You guys just go on. I can't.
I'm done with this sport.
I'm done. I invest so much of my emotions and time.
It's broken my heart one too many times.
That's what I love about it is like I don't give a shit who wins and loses really. Like even my favorite fighter, watching him lose, if he loses spectacularly, that was awesome. Like
I don't know. Some are worse than others, and some cards are more sad. Like I didn't think that card was sad, but you see fights and it's like, that was sad. That dude.
Well, it's sad to see somebody get derailed who you had high hopes for and shit. But like ultimately, it's all rewarding to me. Like
what I think about too, it's like Adesanya is still a 185-pound champion. He's never lost a middleweight. He's still a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, and honestly, I felt like even losing that fight in my mind, he still maybe moved up the pound for pound rankings a little bit. I mean, I don't know where he was really. He was probably already number 2, but like, I don't know. You know, where does that put him?
It's like people were saying like the John Jones fight's off the table, and like it's not there right now, but like. Is that Jan worse than John Jones we've seen? Like, like how good is Jan? And I guess we're talking about this fight card for a second because I didn't talk about it with you guys.
Yeah.
But like, how good is Jan? I think that Jan could beat John Jones. I don't think Jan will get demolished by John Jones.
Maybe we do end up. Maybe depending on what happens with John, maybe he ends up back at light heavyweight, and maybe we do see that Adesanya fight one day. But I mean, honestly, based on what we saw, like you got to think Jones would out-wrestle him and,
right.
Ragdoll him.
But it's just like with the striking machine, just because like Jan is a very smart striker and Jones is too. It just like it'd play out differently, I think too. And also, Izzy's only gonna get better on the ground, better takedown defense. He's always he's like he seems like the type that's gonna look at that fight and sort of make improvements. Yeah.
You would think though that he would even be like, maybe it wasn't the best idea to not put on those 15 pounds. Like,
right.
You almost have to, dude. Like you're so small. You're just very skinny and skinny.
Yeah.
It's just like maybe that probably would help you out.
Plus,
man.
he spent on it drinking. He drank a whole bottle of wine the night before. Or
yeah. Well, he said he was doing. I wasn't doing wine. I was doing lines. Yeah.
It's like
Costa's a fucking idiot.
But why would Costa even say that out loud? If that was the case, just sit on that forever.
Yeah.
Don't. Like, had to get drunk to fight somebody that you were making fun of, you know what I mean?
Costa was taking Izzy's loss worse than Izzy was. Dude.
Right.
He's whining about it.
Well, it's the same with Jones. It's like Jones was waiting to tweet as soon as he loses, but like Jones hasn't fought in a year and isn't fighting dudes.
Yeah.
It's like all the people that are getting beat and Jones is taunting. Jones is actually like, oh, you're making fun of Dominic Reyes even though he arguably beat you. You're making fun of Izzy. You didn't fight him at all. You didn't stick around the division. You're just waiting around for whatever now.
Yeah.
So it's like... Fight somebody too, you know what I mean? Actually be an active fighter and then talk shit on somebody.
Right.
Win the title, win against somebody, and then,
I mean, he's preparing for heavyweight, and that's a journey for a while in itself. Like, he's had to take those few months and put on the weight and all that, but...
Yeah, I guess we'll see how he looks whenever that fight is announced eventually, but... I don't know, yeah, last night's card was fucking Fight Night Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad.
Ended up being really good.
Yeah, the card was a lot better than I thought on paper.
We should talk about some of the prelims.
If you want to get into the prelims, Dave. I mean, guy who does the technical support.
Dave's not here.
Dave's
not here, man.
I'm actually scrolling in my mind.
Up. Where are we?
I seen Semmelsberger knock out Jason. His hair, by the way, is funny.
The mullet?
Yeah, and Jason Witt... He didn't do shit. That was just a fast knockout. He plastered him.
16 seconds, I see. I didn't watch this one.
You didn't see the whole fight?
I didn't see the whole prelims. I think I started up after this Courtney Casey fight, yeah.
I watched the Ronnie Yaha fight and the Ray Rodriguez. I think Ronnie Yaha has missed missions in that division altogether.
He just looks like somebody's uncle.
Whose uncle?
Ronnie, I don't know. He just doesn't look like a fighter.
Well, his name is Ronnie as well, and it's not even spelled
Ranny.
the name. Yeah, it's not even spelled the name the same way an Uncle Ronnie would be spelled. It's like a fucking Brazilian version, but it's Ronnie. It's just Americanized. Yeah, Yeah, that fight was pretty okay. Go up though. Can you go? Technical. Jacob, can you go up?
This Jourdain kid, man.
Dude, he's fucking. He's good.
He could be pretty good. He's a Canadian guy. He might be the next champion of Canada, man.
He has a good nickname too, Air Jourdain. That's pretty cool. That's a cool nickname.
Yeah, that was the thing is like he was losing the fight for the first 2 rounds. I think he lost the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, he came back and finished.
Yeah,
it.
and then he was in his corner. He's like, fuck this. I'm gonna go out there and beat this dude.
Like, he sort of overwhelmed him at the end.
Yeah, he just poured it on him. I mean, I'm always impressed when somebody's down. You know, the chips are down and like they manage to pull it off because like it's easy to just like mentally lose after you've lost a couple rounds.
Right.
Like, it's always impressive to me seeing somebody come back like that.
And you would think that like with fighters, it'd all be pretty equal in terms of like knowing you need to come back and win this last round or finish somebody. But like nobody has that switch that they could turn and. You
would think a fighter would. You'd think if you are a fighter that would be a natural thing that you're like, this is why I'm going to become a fighter because I have that. But it's just like it's not in everybody, man. No. Like people will.
Yeah, and it's also not even a championship fight. It's like that guy just needed to blast that dude and finish him. That's what it was.
Yeah.
He did the Showtime hammer fist off the cage.
Yeah, he did it before too.
Yeah.
So he's exciting, man.
He also had a close fight with Andre Feely that was really close.
Yeah.
And he missed one in that fight. It was like neck and neck towards the last round. But so I think that he's sort of underdeveloped in terms of like skill level, but he's young, he's flashy, he's exciting to fight. Like if he's on the card now, this is what these cards do for fighters like that is that they highlight young fighters who you want to watch.
Right.
We've seen all last year with Kevin Holland come into prominence with his fights.
Yeah.
And like you just find somebody who's young and exciting and like, dude, next time you see Charles Jourdain on the card, I'm gonna watch him. I'm just gonna watch him. He's he's worth tuning in for. So.
Yeah, even if it's on the prelims, I'll be like, oh shit, I gotta make it home to watch the prelims.
and the UFC doesn't really do a great job in themselves of building up stars like that. It's good they give the platform, but like it's just about appreciating fighters. And
if you're not a huge fan, it's easy to miss that stuff. Like but you just got to be there. Watch the prelims, man. Try to, what I mean, if you can, like, don't just be like, if you're at your house, turn them on, man, because like you're gonna catch some rising stars.
Yeah, if you have 6 hours to spare, just watch every single prelim on a Saturday and ignore everything else in your life for that time period.
Yeah, that's what we do.
I tune in, like I'm like, okay, I can start turning on the fights. I'll go back and like catch up on some shit, but
yeah, I mean,
I'm
you
not
can
watching
hear when something something eventful is going on. Like some of them you got to do shit. You gotta you can't just sit there 6 straight hours getting nothing done at your house. But I advise why wouldn't you turn them on though? Like some people just have the mindset they don't care about the things that are below the main card or even below the co-main and the main, and it's like, man, where do you think those guys came from? Like, you don't just end up in the main event without going through all this, and like you missed this guy's entire exciting run to.
Well, because they don't really put fighters they should up higher when they like some fighters should be up higher, but they just put like. It'll be Condit versus Matt Brown or whatever. Like that fight should be high too. But like they'll have fighters like that on top of the card because their names already.
I feel like they try to make the card ebb and flow though, where it's like they don't get long boring gaps. They'll put an exciting guy early, just it's like it builds, like they get the viewers to build in like, oh, there was an exciting one. We've caught some guys. Now there's a couple of boring ones. Boom, another exciting one.
They did that for pay-per-views, I think, pretty well.
Yeah.
Like they had Cruz on the last prelim main event.
Yeah.
But we should say like that Jourdain won by third round TKO. He stopped him pretty late in the round.
Yeah.
He basically just poured it on him and finished him with like volume. But Rojo I think he looked pretty good too. I know he's fairly young. He is making his debut.
Yeah.
So who knows how like octagon jitters and like the movement got to him. So I'm still
maybe he was a little gassed, let the moment slip away from him, but he did pretty well. Like he was winning the fight. So
right. All right, moving along. Next fight is Angela Hill versus Ashley Yoder. Hill won by pretty dominant decision.
Yeah.
3-round decision, not even close with sort of the rounds, but I feel like Hill is good, but she sort of fights down at the level of her competition.
Yeah, I mean they fought before, and I think we all expect bigger and better things out of Hill, but it's kind of unfortunate to me that still managed to drag out to a decision. Like, For one, she's had trouble there. Like, she keeps getting, bad decisions. And she needs to finish. And, once you get to that top 5, 10, are these girls going to finish you?
Right. And it's hard. For me, it's hard to imagine a 115-pound fighter developing finishing ability. Yeah. It's like someone like Jessica Andrade. She has it. She's always had it.
She's a tank.
Yeah, and even like Rose, and I think that submissions, you could develop your submission game a lot better to finish girls, because it's knockout power isn't going to come easily with that frame. Yeah. It just you don't hit hard enough.
Yeah, Joanna, for as skilled as she is, as precise and fast as she is, she just doesn't have enough power. I think that's why she can't beat Rose, is just the power difference.
Yeah, and also whenever somebody's not letting you punch them, Yana would fight girls and she'd overwhelm them and sort of TKO them if she did get a finish. Yeah. But if you're not there and you're actually competitive, that's not going to be poured onto you as often.
Rose's footwork is too good.
Right. But I think that maybe if she's developed some submissions or a top game that's pretty heavy, she could finish girls. And
Angela.
Yeah. And I feel like that's the only really route you could take in that division to become a finisher, is a submission threat.
Yeah.
And who knows if that's even part of her, ideology going forward with her fight career, but it's still a pretty good fight. I don't think it does much for her. It gives her some momentum back. She lost the last 2 by decision. Yeah. So, momentum is a thing that you need whenever you fight in the future. You need to come off a win and feel good about yourself.
I think she needs to hurry up and get back in there, though.
Yeah, I think she will.
Yes, I think she wants to. But.
Right. And I don't really care about what Ashley Yoder does. Yeah. No offense to her.
Yeah. I mean, props to her for stepping up against a girl she probably knew she was going to lose to, because she's already done once. Yeah.
And her only route with victory was taking her down and sort of grappling her. And
it wasn't happening.
But this fight was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Because whenever this next fight, okay. Eric Anders versus Darren Stewart ended with actually the same sort of way. Peter Yan versus Sterling.
Well, it was different, though. Honestly, I felt like the fight should have already been over.
He was fucked up.
Yeah, he was. I don't think that knee did much of anything to him. Honestly, I feel like he got his hand in the way of it, and I really don't think he should have even still been in there. I think the fight should have already been called.
Yeah,
Anders was going to win that fight. I don't even see the point in rematching it. I just consider it a win and move on, if you ask me.
Yeah, and it took me by surprise, because going into this fight, I was thinking that Stewart had the better stand-up, and Anders was more of a jack of all trades type of fighter, where he's not really particularly good anywhere. He's decent.
He was pretty accurate, man. He was just
he was a lot better.
Him. Yeah, and Stewart, to his credit, was taking heavy shots and trying to battle back, and still exchanging in those flurries, but wasn't getting wasn't landing like Anders was. And man, there's a couple moments in that where I felt even the announcer's this fight's over, it's over, and he did get up. I don't think the first initial one he should have called it, but
right.
As soon as he went down on that knee again to where he eventually did get kneed, I think they should have called it as soon as he dropped again.
Yeah, and also it sort of creates the discussion of how can a referee determine intent in terms of intentional foul versus unintentional foul.
Yeah.
Because it's how do you determine that on the fly to make a decision about whether or not someone's DQ'd versus somebody is no contest, and it's hard to make a decision and rob somebody of a fight. Anders didn't get half his money because of this. His intent was established as being unintentional. Yeah. So someone lost out on money and they could have got fight of the night or whatever. I'm not sure, but it's you look at Jan got DQ'd and Sterling got more money because he was DQ'd. So it's just and he has a win on his record too in the title. And the stakes weren't as high for this fight, so it's not as it's not as urgent to figure that out or be stringent about it. But it's just how can they determine intent just by a strike?
I suppose it's good Dana can just kind of do what he wants, and he knows fighting, because he could just look at this and be like, we know who won this fight.
Treat it as such. Or
let's
maybe
just move on.
Win bonus anyways.
Yeah.
Because I know that it's he has given win bonuses to people he thought won, lost on a decision that's bad. Stuff. But it's still just I don't know. They need to fucking figure out this grounded rule. They need to figure out the referee and how they determine intent versus not intent, how they determine DQs versus no contest, because it's becoming up to the referee, and every referee sort of treats it differently and has different ideas about it. So
And it's just unfortunate because, like I said, I feel like the fight should have already been stopped.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, it's almost in my mind a little bit Herb's fault that even happened because
How often have you said, has anyone ever said that it's Herb's fault? Because like he fucks up a lot nowadays.
Yeah, I just feel like I don't feel like I just think he's been in a lot of like situations that are not like. Because I can't really get on him about not calling it at first, but like I said, as soon as he dropped back down, he probably should have been on it. But then maybe he just didn't react quick enough because it was pretty. I think it was pretty quick once he hit the knee, and then he kneed him. I don't know, but I think he should have been in there calling it as soon as he dropped again.
And also, like Eric Anders, why would you knee him?
Yeah,
Like dude, just
You
don't
had
knee
him.
him. Yeah, just like knee him in the body, punch him in the head, do what you got to do. But also, it should be more in every fighter's mind after last week's, how huge that was in terms of like. Media narrative of like that knee was like so costly.
Yeah, it should have been in your mind.
Yeah, like, it should just be like, I guess like in the moment, I've never been in a pro MMA fight.
Yeah.
Or I haven't fought that much anyway. But I fought a little bit.
You want to?
But I've never fought legally, fucking. So like I don't know what it's like to be in the moment and like have a legal strike in front of you and not be of the mind to not throw it.
I'm gonna end this now. Yeah.
I hope that's how he thought in his head.
I mean, and like really with the Jan fight. Like that fight was over in my mind the minute he threw that knee. Like there, all that extracurricular bullshit of "Are you okay?" Like it's over, dude. That was you knocked him out. Like that fight would have been over had it not been a DQ situation.
Yeah.
Had he that was a KO. So like, why are you giving him the option to continue if he wouldn't have been allowed to continue? If it weren't a DQ situation, like it would have been over.
Yeah,
so
if you felt like that in any other strike, it would just be a knockout.
Yeah.
So the legality of it should never play into it, whether it's not somebody's incapacitated.
You put Aljamain in a shit situation where now he has to decide.
Are you a pussy or not?
Yeah, are you a pussy or what, dude? And now he's got people on his back like talking shit. You know what I mean? All you're acting, dude. I would have acted too, straight up. I would have laid there. Oh, I can't go on. You guarantee yourself a rematch. You hold the belt. You get it's guaranteed money. It's guaranteed rematch. You just got a practice fight. It would make no sense to just not take that.
And the people that are criticizing him to the extent they are, it's like they've never been in a position where, hey, can I make an extra $250,000 by saying I don't want to continue?
By following the rules?
Yeah, but by just saying I don't want to continue this strike that fucked me up.
Yeah.
Like so he like.
Well, first, before you make the decision, let me fucking tee off on the side of your head with.
That's what I mean. It's like so the options were continue and get knocked out a minute later.
Yeah.
And lose your title fight, lose half your money,
over.
lose the championship, and work your way back up with 4 more wins in the division that's stacked.
So,
it's like, how can you really shit on somebody for that? It's like, also, Jan shouldn't have thrown the knee. That's just what it was. It's like, if you're the champion of the division, know the rules enough to not have to ask or delineate.
And really, what does Jan have to complain about? You're going to get your rematch. If you're the man, you'll beat him. And it'll be like you never fucking lost the thing. So what does it matter?
And what's funny, too, is that Sterling comes out looking like a bitch. Unfairly, but he's the heel now, and Jan looks like the babyface in terms of wrestling.
Not in my mind.
Right.
Jan's the bad guy here to me.
But everyone's like, "Oh, the uncrowned champion. He's a champion." So like, he comes out looking like he got screwed over like a goddamn Vince McMahon Montreal screw job with Bret Hart. Whenever
really Aljamain's public relations got screwed over.
Right. So he, like now I think Sterling is sort of leaning into it because last night he tweeted about this Eric Anders fight, and he said it's like something like Darren Stewart's the middleweight champion now, and like he tweeted like, "Welcome to the club, Mr. Stewart," and like he's sort of fucking around with that. So like,
Jan has opened it up because he's just started talking shit on Aljamain, like saying fake champ and stuff. It's like, dude, like it's your fault.
If you can't abide by the rules, you're not the champion. That's what it comes down to. And like so,
and we have to do it this way because, dude, anytime a champion's losing, he could just poke you in the eye.
I guess Sterling should just be literally in a coma until the next fight. Like he should just be laid up in a coma in bed from the knee. That's the only adequate response to getting kneed is being knocked out until the next fight. Because anything other than that, you're faking it.
You're acting.
Yeah, it's just sort of unfair. It's like, well, I mean, I don't know if you know about concussions, but they're all different. You can have a concussion and still be okay.
I felt like he was acting a little bit because his facial expressions were very. He was still like doing too much, dude.
Like,
I was like, there's some acting here, but I don't care.
Sure.
Like, I mean, at the moment that happened, I was like, dude, lay there, don't get up. Like,
I think he should have acted more and been more exaggerated. Yeah, like if you're gonna be exaggerated, dude, just make it comical to the point where, just be like. My brains!
Yeah, just my brains!
Just be a maniac about it. Because, like, why not? People are going to say it anyways, and it's actually funnier. Like I said, It's actually good for Aljamain because now he becomes somebody that you want to see knocked
now
out.
he's a triple C. Like,
He's that sort of figure where you want to see him lose next time.
Yeah.
So it could be good in disguise because like you work with whatever heat and whatever tension you have. You work with it and you market it whatever way you can. If you want to see you lose and knocked out because you faked a fucking concussion or whatever they say, whatever.
And you got to think he stands a chance in that fight with the way, like, his pace was insane.
I don't know. I don't know because like
I know, yeah, I get it, but like, dude, pace yourself and let's see what happens at least. Like,
how adequate is his game if that pace isn't a part
there,
of it?
right?
Yeah, like
but you burned yourself out in 2 fucking like you were done, dude.
But they only do as well because of his pace. Was that though? Like if he fights at a more measured pace, does that give
Jan chances to tee off?
Right. Yeah. So like, how well can he keep Jan away from working his game without doing that?
It's a different fight next time for sure. I believe if Aljamain doesn't do the same stupid game plan.
All right,
let's talk about these ones.
Yeah, I mean, there's sorry. Off.
Is he hinting at us? It puts the next fight up.
But this
great fight.
Yeah, this is one of the better fights of the card. Manel Kopp versus Matthias Nicolau. Yeah,
Nicolau won by split decision.
This is a close fight. The first round was sort of controlled by Nicolau with his grappling. Kopp sort of was low output, got taken down a few times.
Well, I felt like it went like this. Nicolau was winning the first half of the first round with his grappling, and then I felt like Cape towards the end was doing pretty well in the stand-up of that round. The second round, I felt like Cape was still doing well in the beginning of the second round with the hands, and then towards the end of the second round, I felt like Nicolau totally reversed the momentum in the stand-up and carried that over into the middle of the third round, which then I felt like Cape took it back and landed some monster shots at the end of that third
sort of
round.
Maybe stole it or didn't.
Maybe stole it. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it doesn't surprise me at all that this ended up being a split decision because in my mind I was like, it was Nicolau, maybe a draw, but maybe he stole that at the end. So I was all over the place.
The most dominant round was the first round in which he grappled Cape. So like that's on his
I think that's
round.
where like what tipped it maybe.
Right, but like
his couple takedowns and his control time.
Right, it just depends on how you weigh the rounds in terms of like, do you have to win most of the round to win the round, or do you have to land the most damaging shots? Because Cape lost most of the last round until the last back half of it, and he landed all those like bombs on him. So like, does he win the round because of the bombs, or does he lose the round because the output wasn't
there? And is the end of the round more important than the beginning of the round? Like, how did the judges weigh it? This fight could have gone either way. I'm glad Nicolau won because I felt like he faced adversity, battled back, and like I think he was a little out of his depth on the hands, and then still managed to put together nice combos and pull it off.
But I feel like Cape sort of let the fight go.
Yeah,
like he didn't push enough as when he needs to push.
Tired.
And he did his first fight in the UFC against Pantois. He didn't push at all really in that fight. So it's like it's a mental thing of like pushing. He needs to push in his fights because his hands are pretty good. He's a great striker, but if you don't strike often enough, it's like who gives a shit, you know? I
like Nicolau's like head movement and shit though. He was ducking and fucking dropping them in there. I like both these guys. I'll watch both of them for sure.
This next fight is pretty good actually. This is a banker.
Yeah, Kick City, baby, dude. They were like the whole first round. They were just pow, 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 kick, and then this like, or maybe that was. How it ended in the second round.
Yeah, this is Jonathan Martinez versus Davey Grant, ending the second round knockout for Davey Grant. Grant sort of came in with like a weird rhythm. He came in with like a herky-jerky in and out, switching stances, throwing front kicks, throwing side kicks, throwing these jabbing like sort of knee attacks with a kick to the knees.
The whole time Martinez is cranking inside leg kicks against him, also
trying to counter as well. Trying to counter. But Grant was throwing these like really wide hooks. He would literally just like throw hooks just like so fucking wide. I'm like, dude, if somebody throws a bomb down the pipe, he's gonna catch him. But I mean, it worked for him. He knocked him out in the second round.
It's funny, the whole first round they're kicking like crazy, and then the second round they're both like swinging their hands. Like they both decided like, all right, we're done with the kicks. My legs hurt or something.
Yeah.
And I honestly I didn't feel like Grant was gonna win the fight though. Like I felt like he was gonna get overwhelmed, and then it just
he's like 36. He's old for that division.
Yeah, he moves well.
Like, he has a lot of vigor for somebody that old.
Yeah, man, he's fast and like his spins all got pop on him. Like he's pretty good.
I like him. Yeah, I mean like he's fun to watch fight.
Yeah, I mean where's he gonna go? I don't know, but like it's exciting either way. I think his next fight will be something to watch for sure.
Right. All right, next fight. Danny Gay knocked out Gavin Tucker in 20 seconds.
And it's over.
That's the fight. That's literally the whole fight.
Dude, the
one straight-
one-punch man, baby.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I felt kind of bad for Gavin Tucker, but I mean, it just got caught in the chin. That's just what happens.
Yeah.
Doesn't
I mean,
really say much about either fighter, to be honest. But
you know, you kind of luck out. Like, it's not lucky to do this, but like, you kind of luck out that you stepped, he stepped, boom, it's over. Like,
Yeah.
you know, how often does that happen either way? And how many questions does that answer? I don't know, but you know, Ige's building a nice case for himself.
yeah, and it gives a good performance after that Calvin Kattar fight he lost last year in Fight
Yeah.
Island. He lost that fight pretty, you know,
Which, I
widely,
mean,
so.
that's a great boxer there, so.
Right, and plus he's bigger than Danny Ige. Danny Ige
Yeah.
is pretty small for the division, but not much else to say. It's like that was a,
It's
you know,
over.
Yeah. All right, next fight: Misha Cirkunov versus Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann knocked him out in the first round, dropped him twice with strikes. It looks like Cirkunov wasn't really even in the fight.
No. Well, they mentioned something else. Serkinov was saying how it'd be nice to get out. He felt like the fans oftentimes like change his headspace or push him into things or something. Like, I'm like, well, now he's gonna have to find something else to blame besides the fans.
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe he's like it seems like he's like a mental midget. Like he can't put it
yes, yeah.
together. It's like, because like
Yeah.
I remember years ago he was like a hype prospect in the light heavyweight division.
Yeah.
I remember him coming in like, oh my god,
there was some
he's-
hype on him. Yeah.
Yeah, now it's just like he's just cannon fodder for the next like contender maybe to rise up.
Spawn is like won 9 of his last 10 fights or something.
He lost to Johnny Walker by decision. Which,
in a wild Johnny Walker fight.
yeah,
you know?
which doesn't look. Wait, was he knocked out? I can't remember if he's knocked out by Johnny Walker or.
I think he beat Johnny Walker.
I think he beat Johnny Walker 4 times that fight, but he got knocked out as well by him. So
Maybe.
I think that was just, they had 3 fights. He won 2 of them. So
Him and Johnny Walker fought 3 times?
yeah, but in one fight.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. It was-
Yeah, the
he
usual
killed him
Johnny
twice.
Walker
Killed him twice.
doing Undertaker.
Johnny Walker was on the stretcher, being stretchered out, and rose back up and came back in the ring and fought him again.
Yeah, but Spawn, man, I mean, he's a big boy, and like, it's nice to see some, you know, fresh blood at light heavyweight. I feel like that division is like so close to on the verge of being dead, but at the same time, maybe
I
not.
think it's bigger. It's fucking light heavyweight and heavyweight are both kind of more stacked with prospects than before.
Yeah, it's like in 3 years we'll be like, holy shit, this is the most stacked. You know, in a couple of years,
Right.
maybe light heavyweight turns around.
It just
again.
people age out and then like it starts to look old, and then also every division has that aura of like the fighters not fighting behind them. If you're in the top 5, you barely fight behind you.
Yeah.
Same thing with like welterweight and middleweight. It's like once you get that ranking, you don't fight people behind you. So it looks like it's ages out. Every division looks like it's aging out on top. Like, you know, it's like welterweight. It's hard to get a fight if you're not in the top 5 already.
Yeah.
Lightweight, you can't fight somebody unless you're fucking. You have to win 19 in a row to fight somebody in the top 5.
Yeah.
So this is the same thing, sort of. Could not continue second fight, but yeah, we'll get that in a second.
It could not.
But Spawn looks pretty good. I don't know, like it's hard to tell where his game's at, but he looks pretty good. He has power.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I'm not. Gonna,
There's nothing that super stands out to me about
No.
him other than
'Cause
his
there's a-
size, though. Like,
Yeah, there's a lot of people. He has some submissions too, but there's a lot of people in the division that look like they're better strikers than him. You look at like Ankolov, you look at like
Yeah.
Yuri Piraka. There's a lot of strikers in the division, so it's a rough out for him when he gets to the top. But could he be top 10? I think so.
possibly.
Yeah. All right, so the main event is Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad. This ended with a
With the
eye
worst,
gouge in the second
one of the
round.
worst, dude. He ended up. What happened is his finger hooked in his lower eyelid, and it pulled
Yeah.
back on it.
But
Like,
Leon Edwards looked pretty sharp in this fight. He looked
Yeah.
like a killer.
yeah, I honestly, it answered any question I had. Really, I don't need to see this rematch. I don't, you know, I think we should see Edwards. He's adamant like it's time for me a title fight, but a number 1 contender fight is probably
I want to see him
Fine.
fight Colby.
yeah.
Versus Colby would be good.
I don't think he wants to. I think he wants the title fight, but for me, I think there should be a number 1 contender fight, and then he's in there.
Yeah, either way, he needs to get a fight booked soon.
Soon,
and
yeah.
Colby, like I think he beats Jorge Masvidal. I think he beats him.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause I think Masvidal sort of
Masvidal's probably number 6 in the really, you know.
yeah, like he's gotten pretty favorable matchups.
Uh-huh.
Lost the decision to Usman, but I feel like he's just not as sharp as like Leon Edwards is.
But man, I mean, knowing who Usman is, Masvidal did do fairly well on 2 weeks' notice, and
Yeah,
you know, But do I think he ever does better? Not really. Like, I think it's the same fight regardless.
But for me, it looks like Edwards is like probably number 3 or number 2 in the division, right next to Colby. They need to fight to figure out who that contender is.
And then
Masvidal just probably needs to fight somebody, and he's probably gonna get the Usman fight. But it just, I don't want to see it. It seems very wasteful in terms of Usman's
I think
legacy.
He should have to win a fight before he gets another shot.
And if I'm Usman, I don't want to fight Masvidal because that's not a legacy fight. No one's like, dude, he needs to beat Masvidal again to secure his rightful fucking throne, to the welterweight division. He needs to fight Colby again or fight Edwards again because those are the dudes in the division, or Wonder Boy. If Leon fights Wonder Boy, that'd be a great fight.
Honestly, I think Leon Edwards' fight just became the most interesting one. Like, but the way he looked last night, I mean, he looked like a contender. He didn't look like he was a guy that hasn't been in the cage for a year and a half. That's for sure.
And me and you talked about last night, and like maybe Hamzat that's a big step up for Hamzat.
He might have bit off more than he could chew there. Like thinking about Hamzat walking his last opponent down and knocking him out. That's not what would happen with Leon Edwards. Not in that way. I mean, we don't know how good Hamzat ultimately is, but
he could beat the shit out of Leon.
There are levels, and this would have been a much bigger level.
Yeah, and like a Neil Magny type of fight level.
That's where
Hamzat should be there. If he stops coughing up blood.
Originally, I thought the Magny fight was the best call for Hamzat. I thought that was where it should be.
Right, and like, there's not much else to say. Bilal Muhammad will probably get a decent fight out of this.
His eye's okay.
Yeah.
It looked bad. I think most of his him crying was about the opportunity that just slipped out of it. He knew the fight was over.
Yeah, and just being a baby bitch about it.
Yeah, being a little bitch, but
besides the little bitch part, but
I think maybe we should calm down.
Who's this?
Calm down a little bit. I mean, this dude was ranked 13.
But
what do you mean?
But ranking,
you guys are like, he looked like
he did
the
though.
man, like the absolute
Leon?
man.
Yeah, he did though.
But this guy's ranked 13.
It's not about not looking at who he was up against, just looking at himself and his movement and how he flowed. Like, I felt like, I mean, and then basing it off of where he was prior to that too, like the whole body of work. He looks like.
But if you beat Hamzat, would you say that he beat someone who's ranked 59 or whatever? No.
Yeah.
But then it's a lose-lose situation for Leon. Who can he fucking fight that makes him look good? Because he has to fight backwards and wants to fight him. Well, Colby didn't want to fight him.
All I'm saying is this guy is ranked 13, not in the top 5. I understand those people don't want to fight him,
right?
But this guy maybe allowed him to implement his game plan. This guy, this guy allowed him to flow the way he wanted to flow. Colby Covington is going to apply a different kind of pressure,
right?
For sure, but that's why I don't think you should just take Leon and put him in the title fight. I think he should have a number 1 contender fight.
Yeah, he looked.
I think he was. I think, even though this fight ended in how it did, I think he looked well enough and he was dominating enough to be like, we don't have to hold this against him or stay here. He can advance. Like, he should advance from here.
It's not stagnant. His career should be going. It should be. It looks like a win to me because how he looked he was winning. Yeah. And like the thing though is like Bilal Muhammad is a pressure fighter. His last fight against Diego Lima.
It didn't look like that pressure was going to
do much. He nullified it real well. He pressured him instead. That says to me about it because like Bilal Muhammad's not top 10, but I've seen him fight and I know how he fights. He's a great fighter, and Leon didn't let him fight like that at all. No. So that says something about Leon's skill level that he could do it to somebody who's 13 and completely shut down his game.
And that head kick was ferocious. Like, that's some pop to it.
so like it's just like, well, I mean, like I said, if he fought Hamzat and beat the same thing Hamzat did, like, well, Hamzat is fucking has 3 wins and 2 of the guys aren't in the UFC anymore. Yeah. It's like, well, who can you get him in there with?
It's not like Leon did so well that it makes me uninterested in that Hamzat fight. It just, it reminded me that, like, wow, this would have been a very big step for Hamzat.
Yeah, and like this is a big step for Bilal Muhammad. Yeah, and like it just like you fight who you can, and like could Usman have knocked out Bilal Muhammad or done any better to Bilal Muhammad in that fight? I don't think so.
I don't know. He would have wrestled him, obviously tried to, but
that's what I mean. So it's like he did for a round and a half what he needed to do to Bilal Muhammad to show Bilal that's his ranking. You're not close to me. Yeah, and that's what he did, and that's all he could do. It's like, could anyone in the top 5, like Colby? What if Colby done to Bilal Muhammad? Pressure fight him, take him down, maybe clinch him into cage. So it's like, what can anyone else do in the top 5 do to him? Yeah, because Bilal Muhammad's pretty durable. He's a great fighter. He's not top 10. No. He's a great fighter still. So.
I mean, there is a question like, okay, it was a 5-round fight, and Muhammad is a guy who drags you like later and wins like that.
He hasn't dragged nobody. He has only fought 3 rounds. He can't drag shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, but he drags for those rounds. But I just don't think it was looking like it was ever gonna go his way.
He beat the shit out of RDA for 5 rounds, Leon Edwards. So he has good cardio. He's not gonna get tired.
Yeah.
So it just like
even the eye poke too, like. He didn't even have his fingers really extended. Honestly, Bilal kind of like stepped right into it, and he was gonna get cracked either way. Like,
and like you look at the strike, like okay, should you not poke people in the eyes? Yes, but when you throw a body kick, your hand often grabs out. It's hard
to push anything away.
Yeah, like try throwing a kick and keeping your hand clenched. Yeah, you push your hand out because of the equilibrium. You center yourself with your hands. So it's like it's impossible to sort of keep your hand clenched at all times. When you're fighting, it's just you need to move your arms around.
Yeah, I just think it's a byproduct of the sport. It's going to happen, and you know, try your best to avoid it.
So I guess we go really match up the top fight. I don't really need to go through like Dan Houdini fought to Ryan Spawn. I guess Ryan Spawn could literally fight fucking Anklov, whatever. That's fine. Yeah, it's just like any in the top, back end in the top 10, he probably deserves a step up. He went to fight the Crute versus Anthony Smith winner. That sort of makes sense. If that person's not looking to, that person might be wanting to fight higher too. We'll see where it shakes out.
Yeah, he did say, he's like, give me the winner, Anthony Smith versus Crute. That makes sense to me.
Right. So welterweight though, looking at welterweight, so Vincente Luque, if he beats Simon Woodley, he's looking to probably get a step up against somebody. Damian Maia, I don't know if he's even an active fighter anymore. Michael Chiesa is probably trying to fight somebody in the top. If you go down a little bit, Dave, I'm going to see where if Bilal probably deserves to fight somebody just based off of him coming up in this fight and stepping up on 3 weeks' notice. He could fight
Jeff Neal.
Yeah, Jeff Neal. He could fight Sean Brady. Actually, they were supposed to fight together, and he had a great win last week. He looked like a killer. Li Jinliang, he could fight. So I mean,
are they trying to make Magny versus Hamzat again? Is that I thought I heard maybe rumors that
Hamzat called him out, but like he should not call
until
anybody.
Until he's done, until he's recovered and shit.
Yeah, because it looks like just like wolf tickets. Like, dude, just like get better, right. Because you're coughing up blood in the sink.
Yeah.
So I guess like Li Jinliang, Ponzinibbio, or Jeff Neal could be a great step up for Bilal his next fight. He deserves to fight somebody close for that top 10 because he did step up on short notice.
Give him another chance to crack that top, 12 or 10, I guess.
Right, and I feel like Leon Edwards, like I said, all these fights look good. Gilbert Burns needs to fight. Colby all these dudes need to fight.
Stephen Thompson and Chiesa would be nice.
That's a great stylistic matchup. Yeah. It just like it depends on who's getting paired up because he can always fight anyone that's top 6, and whoever doesn't get paired up eventually, he can fight the other person.
Masvidal and Thompson would be cool.
Right, but Masvidal doesn't want that fight.
Yeah, everybody's tied up though. But
see, like no one has a fight booked.
Everybody's tied up in rumored fights though with other people that they're trying. None of it's happened or signed, but everybody's kind of like aiming for certain people. But what's Chiesa doing? Is he still like I want to be a champion, or I'm only fighting for titles or something like?
Yeah, I don't fucking know. I don't know what these dudes doing. I'm about to hit them all up in their Instagram.
What are you doing?
What are you guys doing? You guys fight anybody? Who you want to fight? I'm about to get the scoop from them. Just message Damian Maia. You still active fighter?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's like he hasn't fought since the Gilbert Burns loss. But I mean, if you do Gilbert Burns versus Leon Edwards, that's a good fight.
Gilbert versus Maia.
They already fucking did it. Yeah, he knocked him out. Look, you got knocked out by Gilbert last year. Remember?
Yeah.
Chiesa versus. They just need to start making fights because Usman needs to fight somebody. He should fight this summer.
Yeah, like all of these guys, you could intermatch almost all of them, really.
If you mix up any of these top 5, top 6, and with anybody else, I would be like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's fine.
All it really does.
It depends on like whether or not Usman wants a contender or wants to make money versus Masvidal. Right. If Masvidal wants to defend his contendership or just make money against somebody, those are the biggest questions in the division.
And the big question is, what is Nate Diaz doing?
Yeah, if Nate Diaz is going to slide in and have a losing record at welterweight and just fight some random top 5 guy for no reason.
For the fucking
it depends if Nick Diaz comes out too. If Nick Diaz comes back, then it's a whole different ballgame.
I got the big asshole belt.
Yeah. I see Nick Diaz post on Instagram where he's by the pool mumbling and he's like, UFC don't want to pay me. They don't want to pay me to fucking fight anybody. So that's what it is. Like, dude, you haven't won a fight in 10 years. Like, you haven't won since BJ Penn.
So they're paying you to not fight anybody?
Yeah. Sorry if I don't want to pay a 40-year-old alcoholic that hasn't won in 10 years to fight the top 5 for $1 million. Like, sorry if that doesn't make sense.
I know you have a legion of dumbass fans that like swear by you guys, but
yeah, like
Cholos, the luster's over.
Pothead Cholos in California want to see you fight.
Yeah,
but like, I mean, he should just fight like fucking Robbie Lawler and then retire.
And people who are like Stockton slap.
Yeah,
they're
real gangsters. Fucking, they don't lose fights; they just run out of time.
Yeah, like Michael Jordan. I never lost a game; I just ran out of time. No, dude, the game's over when the clock ends.
Yeah, like you're in a sport. You're not in a street fight to the death. So this next fight card next week is Derek Brunson versus Kevin Holland.
Yeah,
I'm interested in that fight pretty well.
Yeah, I hope Holland doesn't get Brunson, but
he could.
He could. Very well, but.
The rest of the card isn't that great. I'm excited to see Brad Riddell, who trains with Izzy.
Did they fucking do this to us on purpose, though, with Brunson, though? They're like, you know what Brunson's really good at? Stifling fucking awesome prospects. Let's play. Like, if you could get past Brunson, you're in.
And
Holland called for the fight.
Yeah. But the rest of the fight card, Tai Tuivasa versus Dontel Mays. Dontel Mays looks tired in that picture.
I mean, hey,
there's no way his cardio is that good.
We looked at
dude, look at that picture. He looks exhausted in the picture. He's gassed out.
Got me all the way over here for this fucking picture, man.
Yeah, like his cardio can't be that great.
I mean, look, we thought the last card wasn't that great on paper, so these sometimes turn out to be great. The main event's pretty good. Yeah, that's a good fight. I want to see it.
And Gregor Gillespie's coming back from that knockout head kick loss from Kevin Lee. He's fighting Brad Riddell, who trains with Izzy. He's a great kickboxer. I'm excited for that fight because I like both guys. I want Brad Riddell to win. Yeah. Tai Tuivasa always comes to bang. Dontel Mays looks like he probably bangs. He's tired.
Slippy bang, bro.
Yeah, he's fucking.
Slippy got bang.
Yeah, there's no way he's grappling with that fucking. That gas out pitcher, so he's banging in this fight.
He looks tired from the pitcher.
Leonardo Santos, who fucking I think he knocked out last person to knock out Islam Makhachev actually. He's fighting Grant Dawson. So that's pretty cool. And Dricus Du Plessis has maybe the coolest name in the UFC. That name is fucking
Dricus Du Plessis.
That's a pretty cool name.
That's what is it? I don't know
either. It's nice. But I'm looking forward to the top 3 fights. I watch those fights.
Can you go down a little bit?
It's not gonna look good down.
Yeah, probably not. But let's see it.
JP Buys, who is a car salesman, probably somewhere.
Look, this guy's picture.
There's no way he's not a car salesman.
Janky little league somewhere like.
Julius.
Look, oh dude, it's Fat Ronda.
Yeah,
that looks like Ronda plumped up.
It's fucking bee sting Ronda.
Yeah, that's great.
Allergic reaction Ronda fighting.
Julija Stolarenko.
Yeah, whatever.
Stolarenko.
All right, and that's
somebody owes me money if I got that right. But what we're really excited for, is there a gap? Is there a week gap in between? Or
the following week is Francis versus
Stipe.
And then Volkanovski versus Ortega. Luque versus. Those top 3 fights are pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
Almeida versus
top 2 are pretty good.
Sean O'Malley, Common Worthy's fighting on there too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, this is a good card. This is a great card, actually.
Randall Marcos is 10-10.
Woodley actually is the only thing stinking it up on this card. I'm just so tired of seeing Woodley fucking do nothing.
Bro, I mean, like, every fucking fight with him is previous the same. All right, he needs to win. He needs to fucking throw more than one punch every round.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know, just, like, I kind of hope to see him win. Like, because I don't want to see somebody's career just completely just, like, disintegrate. Like, I feel bad for him at this point.
Like to at least ease out. But if he loses this, man, it's time to hang him up, man.
I mean, he's still the GOAT rapper. He still has that rap career that's flourishing.
Yeah. To think, man, for a minute I thought Woodley, like, man, he's going to be, like, at least the second best welterweight ever. And it just, like, right after I started thinking that,
yeah.
Shit.
I mean, his last win is against Darren Till. So
yeah,
and that seems like 10 years ago in fight years.
Yeah, and
like I guess like Luque needs to step up. Woodley's back is against the fence a lot more in this fight. I feel like he's lost many times now that he has to fucking know I cannot lose this fight. I have to do something different in this fight at least. Doesn't mean he'll win. I don't think he'll win maybe, but maybe he'll wrestle Vincent Luque. I don't know.
It's just like if he doesn't win, how does he in his mind justify continuing? Like
you don't.
You're done, man.
Yeah, and I guess we'll preview this better next week. So but I'm looking forward to this card. It's a pretty decent card. Top 4 fights are pretty good. I'm excited to see O'Malley knock out Thomas Almeida, even though he just sort of cherry picked that fight. So
yeah, but I'm a fan of, like at least said last time, I'm a fan of O'Malley as a fighter in the cage. Maybe not as much anymore outside. He's kind of annoying, but you want to see what happens with him, like, because he was very exciting in that cage. So.
Let's hope Almeida doesn't land any kicks to his legs, because he will be stretched out and lose. Them. Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps up this podcast. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
We love you.
Kyle loves you.
No, we both do.